What's going on, guys? Tower number 9 here, and I am excited to say that Fantasy Flight Games has sent me a preview card to show here on the channel. So we are going to go ahead and get to that. Shout out to FFG and to Xander for sending this over. Before we take a look at the new preview card, I have it blurred there as a little teaser. I want to take a quick look at another reveal that we had today. The leader card Count Dooku was shown today by Fantasy Flight on their Twitter or X account. And he has some real synergies with the card that I'm going to preview, so I want to do a quick discussion of Count Dooku first, just to kind of put this card in context. Let's have a look. Count Dooku, Face of the Confederacy, is a command villainy leader with the Force, Separatist, and Sith traits. He deploys at 7 resources as a 5/9. On his leader side, he can exhaust to play a Separatist card from hand that gains exploit 1, so you can defeat a unit you control, and if you do that, card costs 2 less. On his leader unit side, he has Overwhelm, and on attack, the next Separatist card you play this phase gains exploit 3. And it is worth noting that, as I understand it, exploit is additive, so if you give exploit 1 to a unit that already has exploit 2, now you have exploit 3. If you give exploit 3 to a unit that already has exploit 2, now you have exploit 5. Now, do you have the battle droids or other expendable units to make get full value out of that? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But overall, I think this is going to be a pretty strong leader. I could be wrong, but leaders that allow you to bring stuff out early or have like economic advantages have been quite good in this game. And I think that Dooku has an unusually strong one in that exploit actually discounts something not just by 1 resource, but by 2. So if we look at like New Han, he can discount something by 2. Or I'm sorry, he can discount something by 1 in exchange for 2 damage. Dooku can discount something by 2 in exchange for sacrificing something, probably a weak 1/1 battle droid. Now, he does have some downsides. So one of them is that he only works on Separatist cards. So one of the things that I think people were excited for with the young Han leader was looking at a bunch of older cards and seeing what they could use him with. And, people were finding stuff like, oh, he works really well with, if you're playing Han Blue, he works really well with Luke Skywalker. Or you could play Redemption Medical Frigate early, or various other cards that were already in the game. Because Count Dooku works with Separatist cards, it's going to be a situation where there just aren't very many Separatists already in the game. And as a result of that, there aren't going to be as many options for deck builders to comb through and try to find powerful synergies. That being said, he doesn't only work on units. You can use his ability with any Separatist card. So with strong Separatist events or similar, Count Dooku can help get those out early as well. His 5/9 stats at 7 deployment are fairly strong. So the Hunter and Vader are both 5/8 stat lines at 7 deployment. So Dooku has an extra point of HP, which is nice. And exploit 3 can discount something by 6. That's huge. You can have you could have a unit that cost 13, and you deploy Count Dooku at 7 resources, you swing and give it exploit 3, and then you sacrifice 6 battle droids and play a unit that costs 13 on the 7 resource turn. That could be really big. Now, is there going to be some massive Separatist, like ultimate Death Star type unit that allows you to gain a huge advantage like that? I don't know. We'll have to see. You can't use this ability with the big Star Destroyers like Devastator, Avenger, that whatever that First Order one is that captures everything, because those don't have the Separatist trait. But we could well see some Separatist behemoths that are quite frightening with this ability. His Overwhelm keyword is, I don't think Overwhelm's the best keyword in the game, but it's nice to have. Lets you take out units while still dealing some damage to the base. The Force trait enables lots of relevant cards, so you could be playing Dooku with red cards and bring out the Fallen Lightsaber, bring out, Force Choke, Force Throw. You could have him with blue cards, and you could have some advantages from some of the blue Force synergy cards. Are those necessarily going to be the only options also? I don't know. I think it's very likely that we're going to see some more Force stuff with this set. And the Separatist and Sith keywords might have some synergies as well. And yeah, I think he's going to be an interesting leader. And I think overall he probably will be pretty strong. But now I want to get to the real meat of the stream, which is the card that I have to preview for you, which I think is going to work quite well with Dooku. Let's take a look at the Invisible Hand Imposing Flagship. I think this card is really cool. So it is an 8-cost space unit. It is villainy only. It is a Force 7, which is not a good stat line for an 8-cost unit. Separatist vehicle capital ship, but when played, you create 4 battle droid tokens, and on attack, exhaust any number of friendly Separatist units, deal 1 damage to the defending player's base for each unit exhausted this way. So a 4-7 stat line is really bad, but once you consider the 4 battle droids, you get 8-11 total stats, which is actually quite good. And building these tokens helps you enable exploit with Count Dooku or otherwise, because these are now units that you can easily sacrifice and get value out of. The on attack ability here lets you use battle droid tokens more effectively. So on attack, you get to exhaust any number of friendly Separatist units, deal 1 damage to the defending player's base for each unit exhausted this way. So one of the problems with having a wide board in this game is that it has inefficient action economy. If you have 4 1/1s and your opponent has 1 4/4, your opponent can deal 4 damage to your base in 1 action, and for you to deal 4 damage to the base, it takes 4 actions. So your opponent is likely to get the initiative, likely to be able to do things that disrupt your plays, or maybe you take the initiative early without using all your units. It's just not that efficient. So the invisible hands on attack ability allows you to exhaust all your battle droids at once, deal 1 damage to the defending player's base for each of them. You can't put that damage anywhere you want, but compressing it into 1 action can potentially be really useful. And maybe you do this 1 big attack, then you use exploit, you get rid of those units that are now exhausted, and they've gotten some extra value. So there's an interesting parallel here with Tranquility. So the Invisible Hand is the imposing flagship, and Tranquility is the inspiring flagship. And they're both sort of these big battleship type units that enable core mechanics. The Invisible Hand gives you a bunch of droids and allows you to use your droids more efficiently. Tranquility returns a unit from discard to hand and discounts Republic cards, allowing you to get more units on the field and get potentially get that coordinate set up, which I think is cool here. Now, one thing people might say about the Invisible Hand is, oh, there's not immediate big board impact. The same thing is potentially true for Tranquility, but I think that because of the synergies with Exploit, the Invisible Hand has some tricks and setups that it can do that are potentially more valuable than it might otherwise be. So some synergies with Count Dooku. So you could use Count Dooku's leader side ability to play Invisible Hand on 6 or 7 resources via Exploit, discount it by 2, only costs 6. Then it provides those 4 battle droids. That's more ammo for Exploit. So let's say it's the 7 resource turn. You use Exploit 1, you play the Invisible Hand for 6. Now you have 4 battle droids and a resource. Then you deploy Count Dooku. If you get to attack with him, he gives the next Separatist card you play this phase Exploit 3, and the Invisible Hand just gave you a bunch of battle droids that you can sacrifice to potentially bring that card out very cheaply. So, with Exploit 3 with those battle droids is already a discount of 6 plus the 1 resource you have left over. You could play a 7-cost card that turn. You could play a 6-cost card for free. It could potentially just be a really big swing. Just a lot of value being added to the board in 1 turn. And one of the biggest synergies that I think is with Invasion of Christophsis. So the Invasion of Christophsis is a card that is a one-sided board wipe. You choose an opponent and it defeats all their units. And it doesn't say non-unique, it doesn't say non-leader, it wipes their board and it doesn't wipe your board. So that is a really crazy effect. It also costs 15, which is a really crazy amount of resources for a card to cost. It has Exploit 4. How are you going to get your 4 units? Well, if you play the Invisible Hand, you just got 4 battle droids. Invasion of Christophsis can now be played for 7. So let's say, I was talking earlier about Count Dooku discounting this by 2. Let's say that you play Invisible Hand on the 6 resource turn. Then on the 7 resource turn, you can do Invasion of Christophsis, sacrifice those 4 battle droids and wipe the opponent's board completely. That is a pretty crazy setup. And yeah, the Invisible Hand didn't have an immediate direct board impact, but it set you up for a really powerful 1-2 punch. And the Invasion of Christophsis is a separatist event, and that means that Dooku can discount it further. You could potentially have a scenario where Dooku deploys and attacks. He gives the Invasion of Christophsis another Exploit 3. Now it has Exploit 7, and you can actually, if you have 7 units, you can potentially fire it off for 1 resource. I was talking earlier about getting the Invisible Hand out for 6 resources on Dooku's deployment turn and having 1 resource left. If you do that, and then you set up the invasion of Christophsis, and then you have the stuff. You could wipe your opponent's board completely. It could be crazy. Now, are you going to be able to set up these combos in practice? I'm not sure, but I think it at least threatens some really crazy swings and some potentially really crazy results as a whole. And I'm sure there's going to be more cards with exploit that we haven't seen yet. I haven't discussed all of them here, but the Invisible Hand strikes me as a really interesting card where the fact that it comes with 4 battle droids and has a method of getting extra value out of them really seems like a way to set up for big exploit plays, whether with Count Dooku or otherwise, and I think it's going to be an interesting card. Now, maybe it's going to be that there's enough stuff that allows the opponent to wipe out all your battle droids before you get a chance to make the big play, and as a result, this isn't going to be seen that much in competitive play. I'm really not sure, but I think at the very least, it strikes me as a really interesting sort of combo enabler for these cards that are reliant on exploit, and I'm going to be interested to see how it does. So what do you think? Do you think this is going to be a strong one? Do you think having limited immediate board impact is going to be too much of a downside? Are you already getting scheming with respect to the crazy exploit plays that you can enable with this and with Count Dooku? Let me know what you guys think. I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Big shout out to Fantasy Flight Games and to Xander over there for sending me a spoiler or preview card for this set. I am happy to be part of another great preview season, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the new cards in set 3 and to playing the set once it releases. Thanks again to you all for watching, and we'll be back later with some more Star Wars Unlimited content. I will catch you guys later.